Gerald Foos' story garnered public attention because it raised complicated questions about privacy, consent, and ethics, both on the part of Foos and the journalist who wrote about him, Talese. Gerald Foos specifically chose a motel layout that would facilitate his voyeuristic activities. The Manor House Motel was a single-story establishment, which allowed Foos to build an attic space above the guest rooms. This attic was accessible only to him and had a series of walkways that led to ventilation grates fitted with special glass to make observation easier. He could watch guests without their knowledge as the grates looked like standard air vents from below. Foos spent significant amounts of time in his hidden attic space, often with a clipboard in hand, jotting down notes on the behaviors he witnessed. These ranged from mundane activities such as watching TV to intimate or sexual acts between couples. He treated these observations as though he were conducting a sociological experiment, even though his methods were clearly unethical and a severe invasion of privacy. In addition to watching, Foos also admitted that he and his wife sometimes had sexual relations while he was engaged in voyeuristic activities, adding another layer of ethical complication to his actions. Talese's involvement in the story sparked its own set of ethical concerns. When Talese decided to publish The Voyeur's Motel, critics questioned the ethical implications of giving a platform to someone who had engaged in such a long-term invasion of privacy. The fact that Talese had known about Foos' activities for years before publishing also drew scrutiny. Talese maintained that the story presented an opportunity to explore human sexuality and behavior from a unique vantage point, but critics argued that the violation of privacy was too great a cost to justify the supposed benefits of the story. What's truly disturbing to believe is no charges were filed against Foos, mainly due to the statute of limitations and lack of physical evidence. However, the story did ignite a discussion about the limitations of the law when it comes to privacy violations in private establishments such as hotels and motels. In essence, Foos managed to evade legal repercussions due to a combination of timing, lack of awareness on the part of his victims, and gaps in the legal system regarding privacy. After the publication of The Voyeur's Motel, some inconsistencies in Foos' accounts were discovered. For example, records showed that he didn't own the motel for a period of time when he claimed to have been actively observing guests. While these discrepancies cast doubt on some of Foos' claims, they didn't fundamentally alter the shocking nature of his activities or the ethical questions they raised. The Manor House Motel was eventually sold and later demolished. Gerald Foos retired and lived a relatively low-profile life after the motel was sold, though the publication of Talese's book thrust him back into the spotlight, at least temporarily. The story remains a cautionary tale that raises critical questions about the boundaries of privacy, the responsibilities of journalists, and the complexities of human behavior and desire. It serves as an unsettling reminder of the extent to which privacy can be violated, even in spaces where we expect to be safe. Advancements in technology have made it easier than ever to install small, unnoticeable cameras that can stream live footage to a remote location. The market for these surveillance devices is growing, and they are becoming cheaper and more accessible to the average consumer. Airbnbs and hotel policy prohibits hosts from using surveillance devices in bedrooms and bathrooms and mandates that any surveillance in common areas must be disclosed in advance. Guests who discover hidden cameras can report the hosts, who may face penalties, including removal from the platform. Legal consequences can also apply, ranging from charges related to unauthorized surveillance to more severe penalties for sexual exploitation if the footage is of a more intimate nature. However, detection and enforcement remain challenging, and guests often have to rely on their vigilance to protect their privacy. Legal systems are still catching up with the technology, and there are gray areas that can make prosecution difficult. The issue has led to increased public awareness about taking precautions when staying in short-term rentals. I recommend doing a thorough sweep of the accommodation upon arrival, looking for any devices that seem out of place. Review all accessories on shelves carefully. There are also signal detector apps and devices sold that can identify hidden cameras by detecting the Wi-Fi signals they emit. If you value you and your family's privacy, then this information can certainly help you protect it when staying away from home.